Okay. Thing says we're live. I'm live. Okay. It is still. I'm Devaraj. Welcome back. It is still insanely hot here in the UK. I mean, it's just really. It just keeps on going. You know. I never. I think when I was like about 15, there was a year maybe in the mid 70s when it was really hot for the summer. But I think this is the hottest year we had for a long time in my lifetime, probably. And it's just like since like May or something, it's been like 2 months of solid sun. Um, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I just finished today co-leading a 7-day intensive here at Osho Lila called Total Life Change with 15 participants. We only take 15, 16 at a time. And that was like intense 7 days, you know, when you can really get into some heavy shit inside of you and learn how to turn it around, learn how to express and release. You know, and I enjoy that process. I enjoy leading it. I enjoy all the kind of wobbly times when you think, oh, fuck, have I got it wrong or whatever, and coming together as a group with the other workshop leaders and discussing, you know, where we're going to move to and stuff like that. I enjoy it. And it, in a way, you know, it's easy for me to get a little bit bogged down sometimes in computer or phone stuff. And then when I'm leading stuff for a week, then I keep my own body open and my own pleasure is higher, you know, my own feeling of authenticity is higher when I'm doing that. Anyway, aha, another one about nightmares. Okay, yeah, let's take a question. Sam, hey Sam, what does it mean to have nightmares after doing bioenergetics? Nightmares are a way for your body to try and release, basically, try and release. You know, what most people on this planet, their mind is doing is allowing some level of natural emotionality to come and suppressing a whole ton more. It's called repression back into the body's muscle system. And at some point, the body's got to hump with it. You know, it wants to release. It wants to let the repressed shit out of the heart, of the gut, the back, throat, wherever. And it looks for any channel. It looks for any channel to get stuff out. So if you're starting to get nightmares, you know, the emotional undertone of the nightmare, you know, if it's fear, you know, if it's anger, if it's pain in some way, you know, often it's fear. You know, it's a way for the body to try and release when your egoic mind's got too much control. And when you start doing bioenergetics, sometimes, you know, you're taking the lid off like, you know, Pandora's box. Used to be this idea in Greek mythology, I think. You know, so as you take the lid off, you know, stuff starts to come up. And, you know, our bodies are flesh and bone, you know, we're not computers. And it takes a while for it to come. So if you're getting nightmares, examine the underlying emotional content, you know, because there will be, you know, it's not so much the details, but if it's fear, if it's got certain characters from your past in it, or if they represent people from your past, they're giving you little signals where you need to release and get more comfortable in your normal day-to-day awareness. You know, yeah, nightmares, we want to get rid of them and stuff, you know, but the reality is you have to recognize your body's trying to communicate with you, or another part of your mind is trying to communicate with your conscious mind and say, hey, you got to let me out. So then you can look for a way to let it out more and continue with the bioenergetics. Continue, you know. If it gets too much at any time, you either change the posture or the movement. If it's too much emotion inside there, you know, but otherwise continue with it, you know, and keep feeling your body. I'm going to introduce another practice soon, which is actually not a new practice, but like I did a video on Osho dynamic meditation, which was something I did for a lot of years, you know, being an Osho guy. And another one which is not so famous, but which I do a lot, is chakra breathing, Osho chakra breathing. So I'm going to introduce that a bit, and that can really help, actually, to help you feel your body. You know, I have a slightly different take on it than the original kind of inner direction. So I'll be introducing that hopefully next week, get down to making some videos. I've been kind of busy with workshops in the last week. But yeah, we're going to get into that. And then I'll also show like a more intense release version of chakra breathing, which I've been doing, and which winds people up a bit around me because it involves making a fair bit of noise. So I have to take myself away to a space where I can make some noise where I'm doing it. Anyway, yeah. So what have I got? One viewer at a minute. If you got a question, feel free to ask. I try, but I can't. Any advice? Try not to be too much of a hard ass with yourself. You know, it's like it took me, I didn't cry for like 10, 15 years, and I started to do workshops. I signed up for a series of 9 workshops, one a month, and on the 4th or 5th group, I just spontaneously burst into tears. You know, it just came. It just came. All you can do is keep opening your body, you know, keep looking internally, and at some point, you know, your body will relax and allow the feeling to come out, you know. We're limited from a conscious level what we can do. We're limited, you know, and it's not useful in any way to kind of compare yourself or put yourself down. You just keep on opening, keep doing the bioenergetics, keep on opening your body, keep on feeling inside what's going on. And at some point, you know, your body or your mind will just feel safe to let it out, and you'll be able to just weep and let the crying come, you know, let the pressure out. Underneath it all, you know, it's just, you got to understand, we as humans brought up in this culture, we have been repressing emotions for a long fucking time. I don't know how old you are, Sam, but, you know, it goes on for decades, you know, and it doesn't just unlock because you have a positive attitude to release now, you know, and you want to do it. You know, you can say, I want to cry from the depths of your being. It's not, and that is a useful thing to do, to get up in the morning and say, hey, I want to cry, you know, I want to feel, you know, it's useful, but nevertheless, it can take a while. It can take a while to get there, you know. I find I cry quite a bit in relationship, you know, with girlfriends, and that's because that's where I feel safe, basically, you know, when I'm with someone close, that's where I feel safe, and with other friendships. And also for me, sometimes, you know, it's just like, it's just okay to cry. It's like I don't have the same kind of defense mechanisms operating with some people, you know. And it's good to cry, and it's naturally heart opening, you know. It is good to cry. It's good for guys to cry as well. And of course, it's only half the story, because if you just cry all the time, it becomes like a collapse, and you have to empower your belly, where the anger and the fire is as well, you know. Just learning to cry is not getting you, so it's not on its own, it's great, but it's only half the story. Anyway, if you got any other questions, man, you just put them out. Looks like we're on our own here today. I noticed for the last few weeks it's been pretty quiet. I guess it's summertime, I don't know. I've only been doing live stream for a while. I feel like screaming, but I can't because I don't live alone. It's so frustrating. I mean, some people do it in the car and stuff like that. You know, the reality with screaming is you've actually got to access, to really get a deep release, you know, you got to access your belly, you know. So you can go on my YouTube channel and look for this triple opener exercise. There's some information, and there's a workout there with a triple opener, and that starts to access the belly. You know, when you can get a low growl or a low kind of you can feel in your belly, you start to get the same releases from screaming, but you don't actually need to scream so much, and it actually goes deeper, you know, because I ran scream workshops for quite a long time, or emotional release, emotional expression we call it, and I still run those kind of workshops. But a lot of people just scream from the throat or the head, you know, and you get a release, you know, you feel good afterwards, and you pat yourself on your back, you think it's fucking great, and it is fucking great in a way, but also, you know, you need to get down lower towards the gut to get a really long-term deep release. And so even though you might feel like I want to fucking scream, and you can scream in the car, or some people scream in a cushion, you know, that kind of thing, you can do that, but also it's not the, you know, it's not the be all and end all, and it's not always the deepest you can do. Yeah, it's good to scream, you know. I mean, I did a lot of this, and here in the community I live in, every Wednesday morning there's like a Humaniversity meditation called the Om, and the first stage is 12 minutes of just full on screaming at each other, you know. And I don't know how any community purports to continue any meaningful length of time unless you can just scream the fuck out of each other every now and again, because, you know, you can't resolve stuff with your thinking mind, only on the surface. When you live close with each other and you're in close, you know, it's like you need the release, you know. To be honest, you need to scream like fuck sometimes at people, you know. It just helps go deeper. It helps go deeper. In all the Osho communities in the old days, you know, and ours is one that's still continuing, you know, there was a lot of emotional expression in most of those places, you know. It's very, very useful. Someone told me a story like in Japan, you know, the workers get in a bit early every now and again, and they all go downstairs and scream at like a model of the boss, you know. It's a more enlightened attitude in many ways. People need to learn to get the emotional tension out. Trouble is in the West, you know, it's kind of like we got all this freedom, but you can't really fucking do so much with it a lot of the time. Or you've got to really get deep inside yourself or work out, you know, a way. I have a lot of clients online, you know, that I do with Skype calls and stuff like that. And most of them, there ain't no therapists around them or workshops around them where they can get help and release, you know. And I try to help them and I try to build them up so they maybe they start to run groups. But fuck, there's a big need. But like the whole planet needs to take a huge fucking dump energetically, a huge shit energetically, and just, you know, start to clear this stuff out. Right now, most humans seem to be just mercilessly exploited by the pharmaceutical companies and industry, you know. And the truth is, if you're dumb enough to put up with it, that's what you get, you know. That's the truth. It's the bottom line, you know. It's no good blaming predators for being predators. You might as well blame a fucking lion for eating an antelope, you know. It's instinct to do that. But, you know, you can take a different position. It is possible to change. And it's so awesome to work with anger, you know, to feel like, you know, you got your... Because when you work with anger, you get your gut and your base open, you know, your base, the whole base of your being, you know, in your, around your perineum, you know, the bottom of your spine and around by your asshole. You know, it opens up there. And then you can maintain healthy boundaries, you know, with people. And people will not fuck with you. You know, all the bullies out in the world, they won't fuck with you if you've got an open base and you've got energy in your belly. They won't fuck with you. They go and look for someone who's a victim to fuck with, you know. It doesn't matter, you know. I'm on YouTube a fair bit and I often see all these, you know, because it puts up other videos. I'm looking at some martial arts guy or something like that, and there's a lot of videos about what to do with bullies, and these guys are going to karate and stuff. And it's all okay, you know, yeah, to be, you know, to toughen up. I don't have kids, but if I had a little boy, you know, and he's getting bullied, yeah, sure, go to karate and stuff. But I tell you, when you can shout and you open your base up and you have energy in your belly, no one is going to fuck with you. They're just not, you know. If I want to get, and I'm not big, I'm like 5'7", 5'8", you know. No, I'm not a tough guy, you know, but like not physically, you know. But like, no one really fucks with me, you know. It's like because you radiate something from deeper inside your being, and people who are looking to fuck around, they're not gonna fuck with you. If I want to get people piss me off, and I go online where people can't see or feel me, you know. I mean, I'm writing something and some bitch is kind of putting something back or something. It pisses me off. You know, I have to desist from too much of that stuff. But in person, one-to-one, I don't feel like I'm threatening people or being overpowering or something. But, you know, when you have your base open, people just don't fuck with you. And so I see a lot of guys, you know, young guys, they've been bullied and stuff like this, or women also, you know, and they go for the martial arts and the Karate Kid approach, and it's all good. There's nothing wrong with doing that, you know. You get in control of your body, get powerful. But the bottom line is, if you get down in your belly and in your base, you know, no one is going to really fuck with you. And you have that kind of bottom line CEO kind of energy where you can really run something and people start to listen to you. They don't, you know, and then you develop your heart as well, so you can share what's going on, and you be a boss. You be a boss real quick with that stuff, you know. That's what I would learn. I didn't start doing groups till I was like 39 and finally admitted my life was a fucking mess, you know. But if I'd started in my teenage years or my 20s, fuck, I'd be running some serious shit now. Probably, I don't know what I'd do. Maybe I'd have died of cocaine abuse or God knows what from having too much money, you know. But you get energy lower down in your body. That is a fucking good investment for your whole life, you know. People will not really fuck with you when you have a base in life. Even when shit happens and relationships break up or the world seems to be dumping on you big time, you have points within your own being where you can hang out and and the crisis, you can come through it, you know, without totally collapsing and getting fucked up. You know, you can get the support you need. So, you know, I always recommend, I have so many clients that they just, you know, you just need to get in the belly, you know. It's so important. It's so important. And so many people these days, they want to be heart-centered, and it's okay. And they got like their heart-mind circuit, as I call it, very active, you know. But then they're not really in their body, you know. They're beautiful people. They look beautiful. They radiate and they talk about love and all of this kind of thing. But they're not really in their body, present. And you notice, they need to hang out only in certain rarefied environments where they feel okay, and it's okay, it's a big wide world and we can all do our thing, but nothing like having the gut, and what happens when you got this heart-mind circuit active, it's why I actually discourage people from doing too much heart-centered work straight away. You get satisfied with that and you get arrogant, and then there's a block, there's a block down there and you can't get in deep, and usually some heavy health issues start to manifest later in life, so I actually, I live in a very heart-centered place and I'm a heart-centered individual. And I like to work from there, but I don't let it compromise the need to work from the gut. You need to get down there and feel. My daily practice in a minute, I start with that, man. I wake up and I'm like, and I'm up there doing a little bit of stretching soon, and then getting this belly growl going, because once you activate your belly in the morning, your upper body starts to relax and you feel good. You got energy for the day to be open, to talk to people, to discuss and to do stuff, It's fucking awesome practice. I'm also doing this chakra breathing at the minute, Osho chakra breathing, or doing my own version of it a little bit, and it just gets more deeper feeling inside my body. It's great. It's like I'm hitting a new layer at the minute, a new layer of stuff. And I can feel myself. I'm doing my breathing into the heart, breathing into the throat, breathing in third eye, middle of the head. My body's contorting and twisting, and I'm like spitting and coughing and stuff, there's stuff in there, and I feel good in life. I feel good to move out, but there's other layers of stuff that I can look at and get into, and then I notice I'm even more open and clear in the day. So I'm getting back in there, I'm getting back in there and working on myself. It's important. And don't miss up on the opportunity to get in some heavy workshops. I tell you something, people come to my workshops with a lot of trauma, and they had heavy shit in their childhood. You're fucking lucky if you've got trauma, and it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like a weird thing to say, but the reality is, if I wasn't traumatized to fuck, as a kid, the bottom line is I would never have bloody, got involved in therapy and cleared so much shit out and have such a great life today. I'd probably be married. If I was a regular Joe and I had a regular upbringing, I'd probably be married with 2.4 kids living in some shithole like fucking Guildford or something. I don't piss people off from Guildford. Crawley or Horsham, I'm not going to go there. But and having a miserable fucking life of quiet desperation. Trauma is fucking great, basically, if it motivates you to overcome it. I know another motivation guy, Dan Pena, and he's always, on about how his dad used to beat him up and how good it was. And I find that a bit extreme, personally, But nevertheless, without the trauma, it's very unlikely in today's society anyone is going to fucking look. So, when I meet guys, I meet guys who've they've basically had heavy shit in their life, and the society and the culture has really dumped on them. Their parents have been real motherfuckers to them. They've been disconnected from their parents. They've had abuse issues. Those are the guys who, if you really stick with it because you want to get your social needs met and you keep on going, you can really have an impact in this world. I tell you, the most traumatized and fucked up people are the ones, if you go deep enough inside of your being to clear it out, you're the guys that can take over and run this planet. I tell you, it's clear for me. It's the fucking truth. It's the fucking truth. It's not the good-looking alpha males. Those guys are mostly collapsed by the time they're in their mid-fucking 40s, drugged out of it or boozing or whatever. It's like the people who are really fucked up. It's a karmic opportunity. Because for me, just to even get my basic social needs met for lovers, girlfriends, to have good friendships, not just junkie wasters, and to get a role in society that I liked as opposed from crime, I had to go deep inside of myself and then heal a lot, and clear it out. I had to get in deep, like I'm saying, So if you're listening to this podcast now or later, YouTube broadcast, and you feel like you got a ton of fucking trauma, good. Fucking good, man. Get up, stand up, get deeper inside yourself and get the useful message from it. It's simple as that. Get the useful message from it, because you can go deep with that stuff. We need the kick somewhere, and that's life. That's life, See, check the stream a little bit. Blah, blah, blah. Sounds like some kind of robot one. Which country sounds more exotic to you? Morocco or South Africa? Well, I've been to both of those places, and I would choose Morocco over South Africa personally. Though a good friend of mine from South Africa says I should go back there and would love it. So I like Africa anyway. Morocco I like. I even speak a little bit of Darija. What's your diet? Actually, in summertime, I don't eat so much. I tend to have breakfast. The minute I'm having this kind of black German bread, because wheat is about the only thing that kind of it bloats me out a bit and makes me feel not so great. So I tend to avoid wheat. It's the only food I think I avoid. And then with that, I have a bit of cheese and meat, something like that. I cooked up some sausages the other day. I got them in the community fridge, and I have those for breakfast. And then otherwise, I'll eat nuts at mealtime, or I have a bit of a community food, which is kind of veggie stuff, but kind of lacks a little bit protein for me. You know, I don't actually, I like eating, but I don't actually eat a ton of I don't actually eat a ton of vegetable stuff. Sorry, I keep checking the messages and it disturbs my brain a little bit. But I think diet is quite important, but you know, I think avoiding carbs and sugar is basically good if you want to work on yourself. You know, certainly they're the kind of foods which people use to bloat and stuff themselves out. You know, sugar is a food we often turn to when actually we need to feel what's going on underneath. From the defensive layer, sugar addiction is very, very common, you know. Completely agree with you on the trauma it made me. Yeah. It's fucking great, you know. I mean, that's it, you know. You can come back to the person from your childhood that really abused the living fuck out of you and actually feel love for them. And it's genuine. It's not a payback. It's genuine, you know. Not for fucking you over, but you can feel love for the good stuff that they did. I thought you were vegan. No, I'm not vegan. I live in quite a vegetarian community, but actually there's very few vegetarians here. And something I see myself is that, I'm not that. I know they did this thing with blood type once, you know, and that if you're a certain blood type, O group, I think it is, then you should eat meat. I don't know the truth of that, but I think meat is overlooked, you know. The thing is with people is that they want to be moral and they want to be a good person. And so they go in their minds and they think about, you know, they don't want to cause suffering to animals and stuff like that, which I understand, you know. But the reality is if your body needs animal proteins, you need to eat meat, you know. So, it's a tough one. But no, I'm not vegan and I don't, I've got nothing against it. But I rarely meet people who are vegan who've really got energy in their body, you know. It's kind of like, yeah, you can have this mind and it's all good and stuff, but can you really get inside yourself? Because this is a bigger challenge than just, to me, even adopting a few behavioural changes. And I've got nothing against vegans. Hey Dev, always seem to miss these, but glad I've tuned in for this one. Been making an effort to do some bioenergetics daily, mainly opening up the front of my body, neck, and lots of shaking. And sounds good, man. Good, Ethan. Yeah, man. It's good. It's good. You know. It's bioenergetics. You can't beat it. And also, the front of the body good to open, and also when you're ready, bow and arch to start to open the lower back, because that's where we keep all the deep shit. But you can follow your intuition a bit and just go for it, And great, man. I can only support you to keep going for it. Keep going for it. It's investing in yourself. This bioenergetics at the end of the day. It's investing in yourself. And over time there's a payoff. I'm 57 years old. I'm still flexible. I can still shag like crazy. And it's not because I'm some kind of fucking super being in any way. I came from a very average traumatized background in Essex and London. It's because I took the time to work on myself. It doesn't matter how, there's no good excuse not to. I never heard a good excuse not to yet. So, I just support you to keep going for it, man, and keep doing it. Hey Dev, what's your thought on internet addiction? Any kind of addiction is basically a learned behavior to avoid feelings. Simple as that. Simple as that. I get it. Somewhere underneath the surface, I'm in a feeling. I'm not really feeling it. And my defensive layer is kicking in with, hey, get on the phone and check that out. Go on your computer and do some stuff, Bottom line is it's a way of avoiding feeling, feelings in the body. If you've seen my little lectures or talks about the defensive layer. You know, it gives you a very easy model to understand this stuff. And addiction of any type, you know, whether it's to the internet, to porn, you know, on the internet, of course, and or to, you know, substances, alcohol, ritualistic behaviors. We're all trying to avoid feeling. And the challenge, when you catch yourself in that urge to get online or whatever it is to just sit and really feel your body. And if that's too much, move your body, you know, get to the gym or do something. So you start to break the behavioral pattern. You break the behavioral pattern. I still get it, man. I still get it, you know. I still get it. I get around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, just want to sit on my phone or watch some YouTube stuff, and somewhere it's not really quite real, you know, and it's good for me to move my body and feel a bit more. Or, you know, watch a bit of one of my Keep Fit coach buddies online or something like that, you know, what they're up to. I keep up to date with Elliot Halsey, started making videos again, you know, get a bit of powerful positive energy in me, and then it, like, over time it changes. Often these things are cyclical. On a daily cycle, we have certain addictive behaviors, and bit by bit, you can take them on. The thing with any type of addiction really is not to go in too hard. That might sound a bit strange, but you learn that as a therapist over time, because it's like if you're on heroin and you try and get off all drugs straight away, you know, it's not going to work. You've got to cut down. You know, you've got to cut down and be realistic about it. If you're watching, you know, if you're online 10 hours a day, okay, next week I'm going to do 7 hours a day. You start to step down, step off. That's the way to do it. Then you feel each part of the movement. You feel each movement off, and you can stay better off, you know, and you get more awareness like that. You know, you've got to get a step down program with addiction or substitution, you know. People coming off heavy drugs like alcohol or smack, you know, often they're allowed to smoke. You know, you smoke, you know, because you got to do something with the fucking anxiety. You got to be realistic about it, you know. Yeah, the wound can make us human, much wiser and stronger once you get over the wound and turn it to gold. Time to shine. What do you advise for fear and shame exercises? I mean, you've got fear and shame. You've got the classic behavioral approach, you know, which is, okay, I'm afraid of public speaking or whatever. Get up, find a way to speak in front of people, you know, the direct approach, also called rapid therapy back in the 80s, you know, where you work out negative behaviors or behaviors you want to get over, and you just find a way to come out from them. And then you know, with a therapist, you go through the feelings a bit that come up, you know, that you start to change the script. The other thing with fear and shame is to see what's a good way. I mean, a lot of it is locked around the throat often, so expression can be useful, you know. Another approach also is to share about it, you know. Find people that you can talk to about this stuff. You know, I had a lot of shame about stuff, criminal stuff that I'd been involved with for a while when I was younger, you know. And when I started to do groups, I had to find people that I could share with about it, because I felt like I was bottling all up and holding it inside, and it felt like a relief off, you know. It felt like a load off. So, you know, fear and shame, you've got the behavioral approach, you've got sharing, learning to share about this stuff with people. Those are very useful. And you know, work on the body with the bioenergetics. I'm just trying to think what's the best thing for shame, really. I think opening the throat, opening the belly is good. You know, it's good. You know, because when you open the body, when you open the throat a bit, you actually feel, I mean, also heart-centered exercises with the shoulders, you know, can get you to feel more okay with who you are. All of these centers, you know, throat, heart, gut, get you to feel more okay with who you are and the stuff you've done. The problem with shame is the hiding, you know, the hiding and the holding ourselves back through shame, you know, and you don't want to be controlled by this shit for your whole life. You got a life, you got a big life, you know, and you can do amazing things in your life, man. You know, so don't get held back too much by fear and shame. Keep looking for a way forward. Often step by step is the best. Step by step is the best, because then you stay feeling in your body when you do things step by step. So I recommend that. I hope that's helpful to you. How old are you? I'm 57, born in 1961. Do you have an explanation of the reason why my left shoulder hurts when I feel any negativity? Interesting. I've not heard that one before. Left shoulder when you feel any negativity. And by negativity you mean like anger, judgments, what kind of thing? You could give me a little bit more information. I'll have a try. Damn, pizza, thanks. No worries, man. I hope it's useful for you. Why your left shoulder hurts when you feel any negativity? I mean, I don't have a reason off the top of my head. If you want to give me a little more details about the negativity, I can have a try. Anger and fear, and you're feeling it in here in the left shoulder. I mean, that you can feel it specifically in some area is good. And I recommend, do you have any trauma in those areas at all? Were you in a bike accident when you were a kid, or fell off something, like I'm in a push bike, or anything where you had anything in your left shoulder? But it's not something where I've classically seen things associated, often feeling weak in the legs when we're in fear is common, or, butterflies in the belly. But, so I don't have an explanation. I don't have an explanation for you, but I think when you're in anger and fear, there can be, common sort of almost a shaking in the body, like that the emotion's been triggered and you want to let it come out and put it out on someone, put it out there. And you were sharing a little bit about that earlier. So I would just look how you can get some anger work going, or some belly work going, so you feel more okay with the feelings. You feel more okay with the feelings, because I'm sure you can do it and move forwards. I still get triggered like fuck by stuff. The thing with working, often people come to anger groups, and they have expectation they're never going to be angry again. It's like, sorry, it doesn't work like that. Anger is a natural emotion, and it's the purpose of anger, psychologically or whatever, is to defend our boundaries. It's a body's natural reaction to any perceived sense of invasion. Whether it's someone stepping right up to us in a way we're not comfortable with, or whether, egoic invasion, people giving us feedback, people dumping shit on us, that kind of thing. But every time you get anger triggered, it's like it's a reaction to some perceived sense of invasion. And where it's problematic really is where, because if you haven't expressed anger much in your life, a charge gets held in the body. And when that charge wants to move, it looks for even little situations, and you get high level anger, even at little things. You've gone to DEFCON 1 about your girlfriend, the way she spoke to you a little bit off or something like that, and it's not somewhere, it's disproportionate to what's going on around you. That's a clear marker that your body wants to release. So look around where you are for a therapist who works with anger. Shaking, but I suppress it. Shaking is good, man. I stop myself to avoid it. Yeah, sure. If you're just going to shake around other people, you could get shit from other people. People can be bastards, and most people are not really on a journey of conscious development or using these kind of things. So it's good to protect yourself and not feel put down by people. But shaking itself can be useful. You can just shake sometimes. If you feel that nervousness in your legs, kind of let it shake out. You just feel in there and let yourself shake. Obviously not if you're in the middle of a shopping precinct and something's pissing you off, but somewhere where you feel safe to do it. It's a way also for your body to have some expression. Breathe through the mouth while you do it, and breathe quite deep, so you get the maximum air in and the maximum feeling in, and hopefully it can start to move it a bit. And it's safe to protect yourself from others' judgments as well, man. That's really okay. It's really okay. Okay, let's just see if we've got any more little questions here. Any more questions? Feel free, if you're watching, to ask something, just ask something, put it out. I'm here to support people. I want to, I've been toying over the idea, I mentioned it on the stream last week, and I've been chatting to a guy to try and get a men's group going in Bristol, which is the nearest city to me where I'm at. So hopefully if you're in the Bristol area, get tuned in. Bristol, it's in the west of the UK. Well, I guess if you know where it is, you probably live in the UK. But anyway, to get a monthly men's group, have a men's group going, so we can do some bioenergetics, maybe 3 hours on a Thursday evening once a month, and do some bioenergetics and share a bit about, and just see where it goes. There's a bit of an experiment. So hopefully when I'm not super busy with all sorts of other stuff, I can get that together and start moving with it. I want to support guys to step up. What do you think of compression clothing? When I wear it, it feels good. I don't really know what compression clothing is, to be honest. Do you mean like bandages and stuff? I don't know. If you give me a little more info, Sam, and I'll have a go. Do you have any advice for breaking habits on sitting or bad posture? I'm trying to improve my posture and often find myself sitting awfully. Well, I think the best postural correction exercise is the bow and arch over time, because most postural problems, in my opinion, being a bioenergetic therapist, I would have this opinion, come from, the way we're kind of holding in emotions, holding in old stuff from childhood, So bioenergetics is good to start to change posture over time. It takes a while, but it's an honest way to change it. For a long time, because when I was working a lot at the computer, I would get like a yoga stool thing and sit upright on it. Nowadays, I have more a chair. I find it better. But a thing to really do underneath it all is when you're working or when you're sitting is to try and be aware of your body, Some people I know even carry a little thing around in their pocket which vibrates every 5 minutes. It's just a tiny little vibe when they're sitting. So it reminds them, hey, breathe and feel the body. Particularly if you're sitting and working at a desk, working on a computer, it's easy to go into very shallow breathing. And slowly over time, you start to lock a lot of tension in your back. So that's one thing. The bottom line is, because I get this a lot as well, is I got to remember to breathe and feel my body. And don't get too overwhelmed with doing lots and lots of stuff. Take it at a pace that you can manage. And of course, it's easy to say that stuff and quite difficult at times to really do it. But you just keep practicing. That would be the advice I'd give you. Hey Dev, remember I said last week I did the triple belly opener before a job interview, and you got the job, man. Fucking awesome. Great, man. I'm fucking happy about that. Man. I hope it really goes well. I hope the job really goes good, man. That's great. First, the triple opener's doing some good work out there. It's doing some good work out there. I'm very happy. Very tight clothing used by athletes. Yeah. I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's any compression clothing. I feel good and kind of safe. Kind of safe sounds interesting. Like it's holding you in some way or what? I don't know. I mean, depends. You've got to look if it's a good feeling in your body wearing the tight clothing, or if it's like you're now safe now from something bad. I don't know. I don't have so much experience there. I do wear that stuff sometimes. a bit. But I'm not such a gym body. I'm not really out of shape or something like that. But I'm not such a gym body. I'm thinking of doing it a bit more, but I haven't got my shit together with it yet to get down to the local gym again. Ethan, thanks a lot. Okay, I hope that's useful, Ethan. Triple opener definitely helped. That's cool, man. That's a really good story to hear. And thank you for letting me know. Thank you for putting it out on the channel. Triple opener is a great exercise. When you can do that for 15 minutes. And the tricky bit, what I see with people, is keeping the shoulders going, because we soon space out and the shoulders stop. You've got to get shoulders up towards the ears and down, because that is a classic armor breaking exercise. It just starts to unlock everything in the upper back. And the belly gets active, the throat gets active. It's awesome. Okay, I'm going to do about another 5 minutes. And I'm hoping to do next week and the week after. I'm co-running a sexuality gathering, about 200 people here at the centre, and it starts on the Tuesday. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the Tuesday YouTube. I really want to, but if it should be that you don't see me for the next couple of Tuesdays, I haven't gone away anywhere, but I'm just busy with festival and stuff like that. So I'll have to see if I can get it in, but I'll have to help. I can really put up with my anxiety. I used to feel safer in certain coats with a lot of Yeah. I mean, the bottom line with anxiety, is to feel the body more. Depression is when we damp down all the feelings because we don't want to feel. Anxiety is almost like you're kind of on the edge of a deep feeling and you just stay on that edge, and often feel when it gets a bit more intense, I just need to get out of here. I just need to get the fuck out of here. I just need to get away from this feeling. I need to stop this feeling, whatever's triggering it. That's anxiety. I come from more anxiety background rather than depression. And the bottom line with anxiety is you got to slowly go in there and feel what you're afraid of, and yet you can do it behaviorally, like with going into the situations where the anxiety is and breathing and feeling. That's good in a way that you can do it and it's not overwhelming. Finding a situation where it's not overwhelming. But the bottom line is you've got to open the body with the bioenergetics and feel more. Because the more you feel in your body, the more safe you will feel anywhere. Obviously in a very dangerous situation, you will respond to it more accordingly, but you will feel safe where you are. A lot of guys, throughout my 20s, man, I fucking chased around the world. I was trying to avoid myself. I'm trying to avoid the anxiety in my body, go to a new place. That's how my brain works. That's how the young brain works, in your 20s. Teflon ego. Not the problem inside. No, no, no. It's a problem where I am around here. I need to get the fuck out of this place and go somewhere else, Got off to Thailand a lot, Southeast Asia, North Africa, Southern Europe, Trouble is, a little while later, all the shit seems to come along and find you. Anxiety, you got to get in the body, the more deeply you can. And it's a long, slow process, but it pays off while you go along. Random question. Does bioenergetics change your taste buds? I used to be a heavy smoker and for the past few years been a social smoker. Last night a cigarette tasted absolutely rank. I would say, as you open your body, you feel more. So I don't know if it makes any kind of biochemical change in your taste buds, but obviously when you are smoking a lot, I was never a heavy smoker, but when you are smoking a lot, then it's like social smoking. As you start to step down, of course, the tobacco coats your mouth as well. It coats your tongue. I think it damps down all your taste buds really. So it's natural as your body feels more open that things taste better. You can do more tantric eating. Where you just really slowly eat stuff. And you really try and really just sit there like it's an eating meditation. And just really slowly. It's a great thing to try. Maybe you don't want to do it all the time, but it's a great thing to try. And yeah, I would say bioenergetics and this kind of body-based therapy, it does improve your sense of taste. Carlos, hey Carlos, thank you. Would it be better to work on every body segment in one single session or focus bottom up during a period of time or focus on a particular segment according to my need? I would commit to a basic practice of stuff like bow and arch and a triple opener. Start either one and then the other, triple opener, then bow and arch, because they work. You see, the thing is, you don't want to get too reductionist with it. And by that, I mean, don't just focus on certain parts of your body where there might be tension, and work on those. My approach is more start working on the gut, because when you have more feeling in your belly, actually a lot of other parts of your body from the top up start to relax anyway. So, I tend to work a bit more organically, so to speak. Get in there in the gut, get in there with the bow and arch, and get those practices solid in your start to do those and really stay aware when you're doing them, so you're checking your body posture, you're not spacing off somewhere, and really breathe and feel and get that really going. The triple opener and the bow and arch, basic practices. And then you can also back those up with some foot and leg openers, the shoulder openers, and maybe some mattress work every now and again, like pelvic release and that kind of thing. But your basic exercises of a triple opener and the bow and arch for me, it's my therapeutic approach. So get those going. I wouldn't take too reductionist an attitude with it. It's not my way personally. When the way I see it, you get the core of your body healthy, energetically healthy, feeling vibrant, feeling pulsing with energy. And then a lot of other stuff starts to fall in place naturally. When your core is healthy, your mind starts to relax. You feel more okay as you are. You feel a natural level of personal power, and you feel okay to be yourself and to go out, stretch out to your extremes more. So that's more my approach rather than a reductionist. I hope that's useful. Yeah, my sense of taste has got better. That's cool, hey? That's cool, that's nice. I still tend to eat in a bit too much faster fashion, hammering it down there like it's about to go out of, like there's some, loss around me. So it's good for me also sometimes to really eat things nice and slow and be really conscious of the taste. It makes sense to me, thanks. No worries, Carlos. I hope it goes good for you, man. Okay, if you're watching and you've got a question, just stick it out, basically. Because I'm going to do about another 3 or 4 minutes and then I'll be off. I want to get some more videos done this week. I'm going to do something on Osho chakra breathing, because I think that's a great practice as a backup as well for bioenergetics, particularly when you've done some bio, because particularly my take on bioenergetics, it's all about bringing awareness back in the body. Going up into the mind, it's bringing it back. And this chakra breathing thing, even if you don't believe in the chakras or any of this spiritual kind of stuff, it can teach you to really feel into your body, and that's very, very useful. I started to do it when I was cold training last year, around October time, and it was like -3 in the mornings. I'd go out in my boxers and do an hour of chakra breathing, and I mean, it also gave me a hit because I was amazed I could fucking survive an hour at -3, just sitting and breathing. But I've got into it since then. Okay, guys, any last questions? Now's the time. Now's the time to put it out. Like I say, hopefully I'll do a bit next Tuesday and the Tuesday afterwards, but I can't. I'm not completely sure because I'm a bit locked up for time. Anyway, I hope you guys, if you're watching it now, you're watching it later, but you're into some practice and you're not backing down on yourselves. You know, don't listen to that resistance layer too much, that defensive layer. Get to know the defensive layer and go deeper when it comes in. That's the secret. We're all going to step up and be the most awesome beings we can. And we can do it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and hope to see you next week. Otherwise, I'll see you later in August. Okay. Namaste and all that. Bye for now.